Housing in Charlottetown is not being built at a rate that's going to help anybody in the market. Whether you're renting, looking to rent, you own a house, you are looking to buy a house for the first time, you're getting a second mortgage, third, fourth, fifth. It doesn't matter where you are, you're a landlord, it doesn't matter. Unaffordable housing is bad for everybody. There might be some demon person there that's, I'm sure they're like, yeah, this is great for me. But other than those demon people, it's bad for everybody. Now, in this graph here, you can see both the total housing, which is in the blue here, and then this gray trend line and the green trend line are for multiples and apartments, which in my opinion are where any types of affordable housing are going to be. And as you can see, they're both clearly trending down, which is not good. So here's the rising value of every type of housing in Charlottetown over a 10-year period. And you'll notice, especially in duplexes and low-rise apartments, it's really bad. In the last graph that I showed, duplexes and low-rise apartments, those were the two that were trending down. Now, here's Prince Edward Island's population growth from 2001 to 2020. And I don't know if anyone here has eyeballs, but if you do, you might happen to see this massive increase. And if you can remember from the first graph, those two trend lines that I was talking about, how they were going down. And then if you notice how this is not going down, yeah, that's big problem there. Big problem. It's one thing if they're not rising at the same rate. That's, okay, we can work with that. But when one's going up, and one's going down. Yeah, that's no good. So people might be wondering, which levers can we pull here in society to fix this? Well, here I've tried to highlight in green the most likely to have a positive impact methods of fixing a lot of these issues. And then in yellow, you have ones, as you can see, like somewhat, maybe, but, mixed, maybe, possibly. And then red are ones that are basically not going to work and we shouldn't do. And over here are the different types of goals regarding housing. So just for example, helping people with rental housing supply side. Yes, it preserves and expands the supply of good quality housing. Yes, makes housing more affordable and more readily available. And you can just kind of glance at this if anyone wants to, screenshot this. This is, by the way, from a group called the Brookings Institute, and they basically have 70 some odd years of data from all over the world regarding housing markets and housing policy, what has worked, what hasn't, what they have data on, what they don't. So it's a pretty good source of information. So hopefully people can see here, just merely by counting up the total number of greens, you can see with both on the home ownership assistance and with rental housing assistance, supply side production, green, supply side production for home ownership, green. And then you've also got 3 yellows. So that's this one would be the second best, like doing, basically people that want to rent or want houses, they could put policies in place. I'm not claiming to know exactly what they would be, but rental assistance or first-time home buyers credit, things akin to that. So yeah, hopefully people can just, glance over this, pause the video if you want. And as you can see here, this is the amount of people that are making, 0 to 20K, 20 to 40, and so on. And as you can see, from 0 to 20, that's trending down. 20 to 40, also that average would still be trending down slightly. And then 40 to 60 kind of rising, 60 to 80 rising a little more, 80 to 100 rising a fair amount, and 100,000 plus is skyrocketing. And just to dive in a little more on that, here is the data, and this is all from government sources, so kind of from the horse's mouth. Here's people making over $100,000. That's exactly the one you could see there that was rising crazily fast. And these, that's actually rising decently fast as well. I apologize for my terribly made Excel chart here because this should say the years, but nonetheless, point still stands that basically there's not a lot of housing being built. The people that are rich are getting richer really, really fast. And the housing market is completely out of whack. Interest rates are about to go up, which is going to put a lot of people in hot water. And people really, really need to put pressure on any, like your MP, your MLA, you know what I mean, your city councilors, your mayor. You need to put the screws to those people and not necessarily to say people online where it's like, because it's kind of that classic, don't hate the player, hate the game. My point being, a bunch of people being forced out of a housing market, and especially when the federal government is kind of relying on housing to prop up the GDP rather than any kind of real economic growth, which is not a great thing. But that's for another video. This is going to come back to bite everybody. So that's why people really got to put the pressure on these politicians. So hopefully this video wasn't too boring and people are a little more informed about what can and can't work about the housing market. Obviously I'm covering PEI, but this applies to all of Canada basically. So get out there and fucking put the screws to the people that actually make the rules here. And if you want to see more stuff like this, give us a like and a sub. All right, thanks, bye.